Thugs attacked a girl in the village, but they didn't know she wasn't alone. In a quiet village where life moved at a tranquil pace, a young girl found herself cornered by a group of thugs one evening. They underestimated her, assuming she was defenseless, but they had no idea she wasn't alone. What happened next left them shocked as an unexpected protector emerged, turning the tables in a way no one could have foreseen. On a warm summer morning, Nicole woke in her grandmother Virginia's cozy house. Sunlight streamed through the curtains, bathing the room in a golden glow. Excited for another day with her beloved grandmother, Nicole stretched and smiled. Virginia lived alone in a quaint house on the village's edge, surrounded by lush forests. Despite her poor eyesight and advancing years, she remained cheerful and optimistic. Nicole often visited on weekends to help with chores and share quality time. Heading to the kitchen, she found her grandmother making breakfast. They sat together, savoring fluffy pancakes and a leisurely conversation. Suddenly, Nicole noticed movement in the garden outside the window. Thinking it might be the neighbor's kitten that often visited, she stepped outside to pet the familiar fluffy friend. But as she reached the lawn, she froze in astonishment. Stumbling awkwardly through the grass was not a kitten but a lynx cub. Nicole could hardly believe her eyes. Nicole cautiously approached the cub, its big amber eyes curiously watching her every move. When she told her grandmother about the encounter, Virginia was equally surprised. She explained that she had recently bought what she thought was a beautiful kitten as a special gift for her granddaughter. However, it soon became clear that the local hunter, Keith, had taken advantage of Virginia's poor eyesight and deceived her, selling her a lynx cub instead. The man had sold her a lynx cub instead of the promised kitten. Nicole was outraged by such a deed, but now they had to decide what to do with the cub. Nevertheless, Nicole liked the new pet so much that she persuaded her grandmother to keep him and name him Jerry. The next few days, Nicole and Virginia devoted themselves to taking care of the cub. They fed the lynx, played with him, and gradually got him used to the house. The lynx turned out to be surprisingly affectionate and playful. He quickly became attached to his new owners, especially to the kind Virginia. Sophia, Nicole's mother who lived in the city, was horrified to learn that a real lynx cub now lived at Virginia's house. Sophia tried to convince Virginia that keeping a wild animal at home was unwise, urging her to send Jerry to a sanctuary or rehabilitation center. But Virginia refused, and eventually, Sophia relented, allowing Nicole to help care for the unusual pet. Nicole was thrilled. She loved spending time with her grandmother, especially now that Jerry was part of their lives. Weeks passed, and Jerry grew rapidly. His clumsiness gave way to graceful strength, his soft fur thickened, and his paws developed impressive claws. Despite these changes, he remained affectionate and obedient. Nicole and Virginia prepared a separate room for him and fenced part of the garden for outdoor walks. They limited his contact with strangers, understanding he wasn't a typical pet. A year later, Jerry had grown into a striking young lynx, his muscular body covered in thick reddish-gray fur with distinctive black spots. His amber eyes looked intelligent and attentive. Despite his impressive size, Jerry remained gentle and obedient to his owners. Virginia often thought about Jerry's future. She understood that sooner or later they would have to let the wild animal go free. But every time she saw her granddaughter's happy face playing with her beloved pet, she cut off the conversation. Jerry had many funny and touching moments. Once, he knocked over a jar of flour, covered himself in white powder, and ran into the garden, leaving flurry paw prints everywhere. Virginia and Nicole laughed as they bathed the disgruntled lynx. Another time, Jerry caught a mouse and proudly presented it to Virginia as a gift. She was so touched she couldn't scold him for dirtying the bedspread. Jerry loved chasing the garden hose's water stream, a game Nicole used to keep him active and healthy. On rainy days, he enjoyed sitting on the windowsill, quietly watching raindrops trickle down the glass. Jerry's curious gaze and twitching tail revealed his fascination with the world. When Virginia accidentally locked herself in the pantry, Jerry's loud meows alerted Nicole, who quickly freed her grandmother. In winter, he delighted them by leaping into snowdrifts and burrowing like a fluffy snow monster, filling their days with laughter. Jerry soon learned to open doors, forcing them to lock the fridge after he once stole and devoured an entire chicken. Sensitive to their moods, he stayed by Virginia's side when she was unwell, purring softly to comfort her. Despite his size, Jerry remained gentle, strengthening the bond with his family each day. He learned to gently take treats from their hands, never using his claws during play with his owners. His favorite activity was lying on Virginia's lap while she read a book in her favorite chair. The neighbors gradually got used to the unusual pet. Some even came specially to see Jerry. The children loved watching the majestic lynx play in the garden, chasing butterflies or rolling a large ball. One day, a fox lured by the scent of the chicken coop wandered into the garden. Jerry swiftly chased it away, protecting the livestock and earning even more respect from the neighbors. Nicole began studying lynx behavior to better understand Jerry's needs, ensuring he had plenty of exercise and a varied diet. Meanwhile, Virginia knitted a warm vest for Jerry, insisting he wear it on particularly cold days, even though he didn't need it. The sight of the majestic lynx in a knitted vest brought smiles to everyone. Jerry displayed remarkable sensitivity to his family's emotions. When Nicole was upset about school, he brought her his favorite toy to comfort her. With spring's arrival, he became more active, spending hours watching birds in the garden, quietly sneaking up on them but never trying to catch them. It seemed he understood that this was his home, not hunting grounds. One warm summer evening, Nicole was sitting on the porch, watching Jerry chase butterflies in the garden. Suddenly, she heard loud music and screeching brakes. A car pulled up to the house, and a group of impudent guys tumbled out. Nicole tensed. She recognized these boys as local troublemakers who often caused trouble around the neighborhood. The girl got up and walked towards the gate, hoping to avoid a confrontation. However, the guys noticed the beautiful young girl and immediately started harassing Nicole, trying to drag her into the car. The girl resisted, but the troublemakers were much stronger. Nicole's heart raced as the bullies gripped her wrists, their alcohol-laced breath heightening her fear. She tried to scream, but terror silenced her. Noticing movement in the bushes, she felt a flicker of hope, only for dread to return. What if it was more of their friends? Just as she braced for the worst, a powerful roar shattered the tension. Jerry leaped from the bushes, his fur bristling and eyes blazing with fury. Moving with speed and grace, his muscles rippled and his claws tore deep grooves in the ground. The lynx's fierce roar froze even the largest bully, forcing them to recoil. As their grip loosened, Nicole seized the moment and broke free. She stumbled and fell, but immediately felt Jerry's warm body next to her. The lynx stood over her, protecting her, ready to attack anyone who dared to approach. The boys retreated from Nicole in fear. Jerry stood between the girl and the bullies, continuing to growl and bare his teeth. The troublemakers rushed to the car, stumbling and pushing each other. Within seconds, the car sped away, leaving only a cloud of dust in its wake. As the dust settled, Nicole stood trembling from the fear she had just experienced. She hugged Jerry tightly, burying her face in his soft fur, and felt her racing heartbeat slowly calm. At that moment, she realized how differently things could have ended without her loyal friend by her side. Nicole hugged Jerry tightly, grateful for his bravery in saving her. The incident deepened the bond between the lynx and his owners, proving that Jerry was more than just a pet. He was a true family member, ready to protect his loved ones in times of danger. Afterward, the lives of Virginia, Nicole, and Jerry gradually returned to their normal routine. They continued to cherish each other's company, sharing their joys and challenges along the way. Their story of an extraordinary family became a shining example of how kindness and love can conquer any obstacle. What an incredible story! If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please leave a comment below. See you in the next video.